Are you looking to start or expand your offer online, sharing your knowledge? Looking to identify the gaps in your current sharing and marketing strategies? Or are you simply looking to trial a new platform that will help you grow your community, protect and schedule your content and events? Why not join us at the Wisdom on Wisdom Summit from your desk, wherever you are, on the 14th and 15th of March 2023. Keep listening for more details. Welcome to the Wisdom Podcast, and today we're chatting with Sam Winch. Sam is an amazing human who is so down to earth and spends her time helping people organise their knowledge in a way that it can be articulated and shared across through courses and workshops, which I desperately need help with because I'm hopeless with articulating. But anyway, she is truly all about helping passionate people just like you out there to take all of that stuff out of your head and turn it into a course. And with over 16 years experience facilitating and a decade of building courses, Sam makes the process quick, easy, and plenty of fun. Sam has been training for most of her career. She has worked with members of the Australian Defence Force, emergency services, government departments, and the Surf Lifesaving Foundation. So training and facilitating and building courses and content, let's say, pretty much is her life. And, you know, she certainly does create courses to suit diverse environments and audiences. Sam literally is the person we all turn to help us launch and sell some amazing courses. Sam, welcome to the Wisdom Podcast.
Well, now I'm blushing. You lied to me. You said you stole that all from my website, but that is not all on the website. Okay. But anyway.
I love having you here. And I just, obviously, yes, we're all about sharing our content online and everything. So I would love to know how you fell into that realm.
Yeah. So it's a bit of a long story. I worked in retail management for many, many years and needed to get out because it's a drama of a job when you've got 2 young kids and you're working late night trade and Christmas and New Year and Boxing Day and whatever. So I was looking for a new job, and my husband at the time, now my ex-husband, that's another long story, went and took his Cert 4 in training and assessment. So it's like the course you go and get if you want to be a trainer. Right. I hated it because he's the world's biggest introvert and hated every moment of the course. But while he was there, he was talking to the guy in charge and he'd said, "Oh, my wife would be really good at this." And they went, "Well, how good? We're looking for a trainer." And that was it. So I went along for a chat the next week. I think the week after I sat the qualification, and 2 weeks after that I was teaching the course or something silly. Like it was just an absolute whirlwind of a fall into the world of training. But what I realized when I got there is actually I kind of been doing it all along anyway. Like when you have a team and you're managing a team, you are training. Yes. Most of the time you're teaching your team how to do things, you're educating your audience how to buy things. Like you are constantly teaching people how to do things in your day-to-day life, whether you realize it or not. It's just, I had never noticed before. So when I got there, I was like, oh, I kind of know how to do this. I can do this. This is fine. But yeah, completely accidentally fell into the world of training. Really did.
Awesome. But and how did you actually, obviously I mentioned the word like government bodies, for God's sake. How did you get into that area?
So because I was working for a company who was facilitating qualifications, so certs in Cert 4 in training and assessment, that's where I started, was teaching people how to teach people. And because it's such a broad qualification, just about everyone needs it. So if you want to work here in Australia in certified, like accredited tertiary training, you need to have this qualification. So if you want to teach people how to become a PT or become a vet or dispose of a bomb, you need the same qualification. So it introduced me to a really broad range of industries really early on, which is a really cool way to meet lots of people. And the wonderful thing about the world of online courses and training is that everyone needs it, right? It's not industry specific. And I get this question a lot, which is people like, who do you like to work with? And I start to list some of the random, like broad spectrum of people I've worked with. And they're like, but I was like, it's everyone, right?
And you want to know, right? Yeah.
That's the worst advice for niching ever, by the way. Like don't do as I do. But like even last week, I was building a course for a textiles training firm about sewing machine operations. And this week I'm building a course on recruitment and selection for a firm. So like it's completely varied and broad. And I like that.
And this is one of the things, isn't it? Because how do you take, obviously there's a scale, I don't know what you call it, framework that you have to work with.
obviously over time, you wouldn't have got it straight away, or obviously there's like the factual, the steps that you should take. But how did you did you mold it in a way that worked with you based on how you communicated with your audience, even though your audience was different a lot of the time? Obviously, as a teacher, it's how you present and how you teach. So did you mold the way you
and
along the way?
Majoritively, human brains are very similar anyway. We're messy people, but humans learn in a certain way. So It really doesn't matter what content you're teaching. The practicality is kind of the same, right? We take what is a large subject matter, we work out what we want them to achieve. We go, right, well, here's where they are, point A. Here's we need to get them to point B. What do we need to teach them to move them from point A to point B? Yeah. Cool. Okay, well, now how do we break that down into tiny little baby steps that make sense for them? Yeah. So the framework is very similar, which is we take something large and chop it down into little pieces. The what we're chopping down varies, but the concept is the same.
Yeah. And when you've actually done it, what's your most favorite, or actually, no, I'm going to rephrase that question. What do you think is the most popular form of teaching, whether it be through video or through downloadables, slow pace, whatever, self-paced?
Video is super popular at the moment and has become more and more popular. But I've definitely seen a transition even just in like the last, say, 5 years. Yeah. Where people were using a lot of long form face to camera video. So like webinar style, right? Yes. You teach for half an hour or so and then you dump the half an hour video in a program. And that just doesn't cut it anymore. And now we've moved a lot more to short paced bite-sized videos, probably sub 5-minute videos as opposed to 30 minutes. And you can see with the prevalence of things like TikTok and shorts, YouTube shorts and all those sorts of things that real bite-sized video is really popular. I haven't built yet a course solely around like TikTok length videos, but it would be kind of cool to see if it's possible to play with that bite size 50
lessons or something.
Yeah, but maybe there's a way to make it super fun and engaging and just drip feed that way. But there's definitely, video is very popular, but how we use video is changing, that's for sure.
Yeah, no, that's a very good point there, because it's one of those things, isn't it? It's just you have to keep with the times and where your audience is or who your audience is really, because if it's a certain type of, certain generation, they'll be learning in very different ways.
Yeah. And it's important to remember as well. So, I mean, that people learn in different ways and they definitely do. And I tend to get caught, even I fall into this trap all the time with people thinking people are like me. People are not necessarily like me. I hate video. Like as a consumer, I dislike video. I'm terrible at it because I multitask, so I'm not really watching it. I'm kind of half listening. I fast forward, or I constantly have to rewind because I missed a bit and I've got no idea what they're talking about. Yep. I struggle with auditory processing of information if I'm reading something else. Yes. So I like words on a page because I can skim read. I can find the bit I want. I can I'm very much an old school skim read learner. Yeah. So I actually, as a learner, dislike video, but I know as a developer, video is really popular. So it's, yes, by all means, people learn differently, but sometimes you have to think about the masses and not yourself. But it's important to remember that like there are people out there like me who hate video, and you don't have to have lots of video to have a good program. There are other ways of doing things. And sometimes it's more of a combo effect. Like, okay, well, how can we keep the Sams of the world happy? Like, can we stick it in a workbook for her too? But like, let's include the video as well. So yeah, it's really that combo effort.
Yeah, I was about to say, because isn't it, you can't just sort of stick with one particular type of media. You've got to sort of vary it based on, to have a broader, like you might have a particular niche of audience, but it doesn't mean that niche learns just in one particular way. You've got to have multiple sort of a variety, I think, as well. But when you're trying to sit there and you're trying to learn something, I always have to read over something or try to rephrase it in another way to see, it's just a constant juggling act of trying to balance the different ways.
And I find it really does depend on niche as well. Like if you've got an audience who's like busy mums, for example, like we're grabbing 5-minute bites between stuff, like, right? I want short bite-sized. I want something that if someone interrupts me partway through and says, Mum, can you wipe my bum? That I don't lose my spots. Sorry, guys, that is my life.
So true.
Right. But like I need something that I can step away from and come back because that's just life, right? I'm going to get called away partway through. Yeah. So it's really about going, well, hang on, who is that end user when they're sitting at their computer? Are they sitting at a computer? Are they doing it all on a mobile? Like, how are they using this? And what are they getting called out for in the middle? And is it easy to come back? And yeah, I mean, if you are your target audience, if you are that busy mum, think about your life and how you like to consume that information.
Yeah.
But yeah, have a think about what
you articulated exactly what I was trying to get at.
What mum might wipe my bum.
You know, a million things going on all the time.
Yes.
What is the biggest challenge you could say that you've actually been through by creating your actual business itself?
There's so many. I think I was probably always born to be an entrepreneur of some form. Way back in the day, we had a tabletop gaming business. So we sold gaming miniatures online and hosted large events where guys came together and played with their little tabletop games, which was super interesting, but completely different, obviously, to what I'm doing now. But once I moved into the world of training, my ex-husband and I actually established a training business. And I tell you what, if you ever want a challenge, try starting a business with your ex-partner. Because that adds a whole another level of difficulty. Yeah. We were really amicable, but it added complex issues to building a business that was already, right? Anyone who's got a business knows it has its ups and downs anyway, but trying to do it with an ex is, a whole another level of difficulty. We don't do it together anymore. Still super amicable. He actually lives just across the street. I can see his front door from my front door, but I wouldn't.
Yell out.
I wouldn't build a business with an ex-husband. No. It's a challenge, that's for sure.
Well, you got enough challenges as it is, and you go throw that one into the
right.
You're up for a challenge, obviously, my love. You like to push yourself there. Well, what's the biggest win you think you've had then?
I think wins come from challenges and challenges come from wins. But like, for example, with that business, I closed that one down primarily because we'd become a registered training organisation, which here in Australia is a big deal. It's part of like the accredited tertiary delivery. But it's full of compliance and red tape and all sorts of government issues. And then I got divorced and I got remarried and I had 2 more babies. And I vividly remember trying to process our compliance audit report with a 5-day-old baby in my arms and feed the baby in one arm. And because the audit report had to go back before the deadline, otherwise we lost our accreditation. Yeah. And like, what else do you do? Right. So, but at that point I was like, I can't do this. I don't want to do this. But that's a really big win for me because it was such a clear moment of clarity where I don't want to be an accredited RTO anymore. And so we closed down that arm of the business. And since then, although I still work with quite a few sort of tertiary providers, a lot more of the work I do is non-accredited. So it's really cool entrepreneurs building awesome programs. And it means that I don't have to be accredited either. And it just takes away some of that red tape and bureaucracy that comes with preventing building awesome courses, because there are some amazing courses that are hamstrung by trying to tick the right boxes. But if I hadn't have had that challenge and that moment of just sheer exhaustion and trying to juggle it all, I wouldn't have had the moment of clarity. And my big wins come from those moments of clarity where I go, oh, I know what I don't want, but that means I know what I do want. And now I can build the business in a way that suits me and suits my family. So yeah, both, they go hand in hand, I think.
That's an amazing point to make there, Sam, because I think so many of us are constantly trying to perfect things and trying to sort of stay away from issues or, things, that might happen. But sometimes you just have to just flow, just go with it. And if things pop up, take a lesson out of it or really, dive into why did that happen and what can I do so it doesn't happen? We all have to do that when we're problem solving.
Yeah. And I think sometimes we just don't know as well. Like I am very much the kind of person who just does something and then thinks about the consequences.
That's exactly what I'm getting at there, right there. Just do it and then think about it afterwards.
I have done that a lot. I open my mouth and things just fall out and then I regret them. No, but what happens is that in business, it means that I take action, and that's a really good thing, right? I mean, someone once told me that you can't think your way into success. You have to do something. Yes. And with doing comes mess. It comes the mistakes, and that's okay, right? I think every great business owner out there, you look at any of the huge entrepreneurs and they've all made plenty of mistakes and closed businesses and gone bankrupt, and touch wood. She says, patting her head, I'd like not to go bankrupt, but like there are plenty of mistakes in my history, and there's things that I just didn't know. When I started a business, I had no idea what I was trying to build. And even now, I have difficulty when people say, build a 5-year or 10-year plan, because I'm like, I don't know. If I look back over the past 10 years, my business now is nowhere near what I thought it would be doing or where I thought it would be, simply because I've moved a completely different direction. You know, we all yelled pivot and we all pivoted, and I can't think of that scene without Ross and his stupid couch. Pivot, pivot.
Sorry if that was really bad on the audio.
Yeah, sorry guys. I really struggle with that longer term planning because I don't know, but also there's some wonderful excitement in the not knowing, right? Just take some action and move forward, and who knows where you'll end up.
This is why I love you, because, you know, I'm exactly the same. It's like when I was starting out, you know, this whole platform we're building, I don't know anything about tech. What am I doing? But obviously I studied to try and understand what I should do, what I shouldn't do, and all that. You have a general idea, but everyone was like, you know, but no, you've got to dive into it a bit more. And I said to myself, who in their right mind tries to get so perfect in the first year especially? You cannot perfect a plan for the first year because you're learning along the way. And this brings me to the point where people who might be trying to create a course or have an idea of a program or whatever, they're always trying to, well, I was having a conversation with someone yesterday about it, and if she's listening to this, she'll know who I'm talking about. The failure, like that, not imposter syndrome, but it's that failure worry that, you know, oh, what if I'm doing it wrong? Or and they're trying to perfect it, or they're trying to work out how they should share their knowledge. And I said to her, you've just got to try and see.
Yep.
That's my general bit of advice. But what would you say to anyone who is sitting there trying to work out, okay, I know I've got something to deliver. It's a visual delivery that I have to create because they have to watch me, you know, in certain actions, like if you're a yoga teacher or if you're, you know, PT, whatever it is. What would you say to someone who is just, you know, coming across these questions and just can't make a decision on how to share their knowledge?
So I think you hit the nail on the head, which is you just have to try. But and I don't know if this makes it better or worse sometimes, but sometimes I remind people that even I don't know the right answers, right? I know best practice. I have things that have worked in the past. I know things that are currently working for other people. But it doesn't mean any of those are the right answer. There isn't one right answer. There's no one perfect way to share your knowledge. There are lots of people doing it lots of different ways, and there are lots of people making lots of money doing it lots of different ways. Yeah. None of them are doing it the right way or the wrong way. There just isn't one. And so when we're talking about courses, people get stuck in that perfectionism cycle, which is like, it's got to be perfect. I'm like, it's actually impossible because you and I and the person making the course don't know what perfect is. A, because it doesn't exist, but B, because actually at the end of the day, the end user is the only person who knows if it's going to hit the mark or not and if it's any good or not. And so until we make something and put it in their hands, we don't know. It's all just imaginary until that point. Exactly. And we will never know, right? I can never tell you if it's going to work or not until we put it in the hands of a user and they use it and they go, oh, this is cool. Or they go and they do. They go, I don't understand or I don't get it. And you're like, cool, okay, I'll make another video and I'll explain that bit because maybe I didn't explain it very well the first time. But until we give it to them, I don't know. And there is no right, perfect answer because the end user is who we're trying to satisfy here. And until we give them something, we've got nothing. So yeah, you're right. You just have to try it. You have to do it. You have to get it into the hands of people and then you can improve it. But until that point, there is no perfect.
And what do you think about the whole like beta process, slowly creating a course process? What do you think of that?
So I have some really mixed opinions on this, but that's okay. Ideally, if you're going to do a beta round, there's a couple of things you can do. First of all, I like to get just some of the content into the hands of someone who is at least interested in the kind of thing you're looking at. Yep. So just make one video and send it to an existing client, for example, and go, hey, can you just have a look at this? Don't send it to your mum because she's biased. Yeah. Don't send it to your bestie. They're also biased. And don't send it to someone else in your industry who knows the thing you're teaching in the video because they're also biased, right? Because they'll say things like, well, that's not the technique I would have used. Your client doesn't know about technique, so it's irrelevant. It really matters is, does the client understand the point? And so if you can just make just one video, send it to a current client and be like, hey, I really value your thought process. Like, I know we've worked on stuff like this. Can you just watch this 3-minute video for me and tell me what you think? And that's a great indicator of if it makes sense or not to someone else. And then you can start to build more and move into proper beta tests. But yeah, aim to get it in the hands of someone who is actually interested in it, who is kind of in your target market, and they'll be best placed to tell you if it's working or not.
Yeah. Such good advice. I should say that. Such good advice. I don't know, your world of training and knowing well, experiencing all the different ways people are absorbing information. What do you think about, obviously there's memberships out there. So they've got like their content libraries of information. So people are just sort of diving in when they're ready to and so forth. Or then there's obviously the more structured, then there's also the more time constraint, whether you've got the challenges and so forth. And then you've got the real face-to-face stuff with the coaches. Out of all of those, what would you say is your favorite coming from a trainer?
Oh, favorite to build or favorite to participate in?
Oh, let's say both.
So favorite to build, I'm a stickler. I like courses because I like structure. And this is me just personally as a human. I'm a checklist kind of a girl. I like a plan, even though I can't do a long-term plan. I like a plan. I like a checklist. So for me, I like the linear progression of courses because it makes sense. So from a building point of view, and even with a client, for me, it's much easier to have a conversation with someone and go, cool, okay, what do we need to teach them? What comes next? Why do we do that? When you've got a membership, it's so broad and it has no beginning and end. It's harder to build. Sure, you can dump stuff into a platform, but it's harder to really go, well, what are they trying to achieve and how do I best get them to that outcome? Because you've got so much more, just, I guess, broad scope of things you can do. Yeah. So I love the linear, from a building perspective, I like the linear progression of a course. As a user, I like live things. I like things with a live component. I'm a procrastinator and I leave things till the last minute. So if I join a program that's evergreen, that doesn't have a deadline, it goes into the files, into the depths of the filing system and may never come out. So I need some kind of live, this is the deadline when you need to do something. Otherwise I'm a shocker. But that's me. I'm just a terrible, terrible procrastinator.
Sometimes aren't we all sometimes, honestly? All of us is somewhere along the way. I like that. What advice would you give anyone that is looking to start sharing their knowledge online? What would you suggest is probably the first thing they should do?
Oh, okay. So from a sort of coursey perspective, what I ask people to do is think about how it's going to work for them. So people come to me, for example, they're like, I want an online course. I'm like, cool. Okay. Do you mean like a $7 entry program? Do you mean like a $400 mid-level? Do you want a $3,000? This is my, signature program. What does that mean to you when you say course? And so what I'd encourage anyone to do, if you're going to start to think about sharing your knowledge, before you get caught up on platform or what video to record or any of that, is think about your business strategy. Like, where does the course fit in your business model? Is it a lead generator and we're going to sell it cheap and hope to get lots of people? Is it a mid-level program that's going to warm people up before they buy your high-level services? Is it a high-level program and this is your big kahuna and this is where you make your cash? Like, what do you actually want it to do for you? Because if you haven't decided, you're going to have a real difficult time building it because you don't know what you're building. Whereas if we can decide, oh, this is my freebie or my low-cost thing, it's going to just bring me lots of people. We know how, okay, well, we're not going to build 100 videos for that. So we kind of know some boundaries. We know we're not going to give them one-on-one calls every week because not for $7, we're not. So it just kind of answers some of those questions that people get stuck on. But think about it from your business perspective. Like, what do you actually want it to do for you and your business? What's your strategy behind it? And that will answer so many more of your questions going forward. Same then, if you're stuck on there, should it be a course? Should it be a membership? Should it be a challenge? Should it be what do you want it to do? Is it lead gen? Is it what is it doing for you? And how much time do you want to put into it? There's a difference between running a 5-day challenge and having an evergreen model that has live calls every month. There's a huge difference in time commitment for you. So what do you want? And until you know what you want, it's really hard for me to go, well, this is perfect for you because everyone's different.
See? Everyone needs to come to the Wisdom on Wisdom Summit.
Yes, they do.
Sam is going to be speaking at our summit in mid-March, and there's going to be so much more valuable information that she's going to be sharing with everyone there. Because that's fantastic advice, especially just before you even start blurting it all out. It's, you've got to work out what is the business model you want to create, and that's such great advice. What is the number one course you would like to make for yourself?
Oh, I would love to make a course, and I've kind of pegged it for a while on the mum juggle productivity side of things. It's I get asked a lot how I squeeze things in, and I don't know if there's a right answer to that either. I've got teens and toddlers and a husband actively serving in the military, and somewhere in amongst that there's a balance, and I don't know where it is. But I know that I watch a lot of, you get caught on YouTube watching these productivity gurus, but most of them are in their 20s and have no children. Yeah. And it does, like, they're like, so I have, in the morning, I do this, this, and this. And I'm like, great. Okay. Well, in the morning, I had a fight over Weet-Bix. I lost someone who only had one sock, because God forbid we have two socks that actually go together. And someone sat on the pavement halfway to take care because could we walk in the straight line? No, not today. We don't want to. And so I find it really hard to connect with this pretty shiny productivity spectrum. Like what they're showing is productive, because I know that my life isn't like that. So I'd love like a real raw, honest approach to like, how do you actually fit it in with all the other stuff? Like it's on my list. Yeah. A realistic look at mum productivity is somewhere on my list, I think.
Oh, I'd be doing that course, that's for sure. It's almost like, how to be a parent book.
Yeah, that's the kind of thing I want. Like And
when it comes down to it, just take a deep breath, look the other way, and just keep hoping that they follow you down the street.
That's exactly what I did last week.
Mummy's walking. Are you going to follow, or are you going to just stay right there?
But yeah, that's on my list at some point. When I have spare time, I might build that.
Do you? I have to ask. Do you get spare time?
I do. So the funny thing is I am a major gaming nerd from back in the day, and I still have time to game, and I watch far too much Netflix. So there must be time in there somewhere. I'm definitely not, I'm not on 100% of the time. And I think that's kind of what I wanted to build the course around, is that like burnout is real. And I think we just see all these people who are like productive 100% of the time. And we all know that like, it's just not sustainable. So
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And even outside of that, okay, so I've got work time and mum time, but I need some time outside of that too, some me time. And I'm really lucky, thankfully, that when hubby's around, I make a point every 6 months of booking myself 2 nights away in an Airbnb, and I go away by myself. And I do a mum retreat weekend, and I just lock myself in someone else's Airbnb for 2 nights, and I eat what I want, and I drink what I want, and I watch what I want, and it's glorious.
That's awesome.
I'm a real advocate for a mum weekend away. It's perfect.
I'm going to replay this to my husband. Now that's, balance is such a big thing, isn't it? With anyone who's starting a business, and, there's all this smoke and mirrors, I think, sometimes. How people think, running a business from home is you're wearing a million hats in business as well as home. If you're just running a home anyway, you're still wearing a million hats. So incorporate both of them together. It becomes a complete. Anyway, I won't say the word, but with everything that you're doing, because you do so much, Sam, obviously we've worked that one out, that you do so much. What legacy are you looking to leave with everything that you do?
I don't have a right answer to that. Interestingly enough, I have the word legacy. I don't know if you will see. It's tattooed to my arm. So you'd think I would have a right answer to that, but I really don't. All I know is that I guess it's a long, complicated story, but I got stuck in a sort of a habit of playing small, and I still do it, right? We play safe, we play small, because we don't want people to judge us and think poorly of us. And I don't know exactly where everything's going or what I want it to do, but I do want at the end for someone to look back and go, she was someone who got shit done. Like she did things, like she didn't play small. And so I don't have right answers to what I want to leave behind, but I know I don't want it to be, she sat and watched a lot of Netflix. Like, that's probably not it. There'll still be plenty of Netflix in there. Yeah. But I want something more than that. I don't have right answers. I don't know where it's all going. But I want to do things.
There's a lot of things that you're doing for a lot of people. It's the usual. You don't see what you're doing yourself sometimes, do you?
Yeah, we're our own worst critics by all means.
Yeah, big time. Big time. Do you have any offer that you'd like to share with our audience?
So, interesting discussion about what I prefer over courses and memberships and everything else. So I had a course, a big How to Build Your course, which was cool and is a bit of a mind boggle to wrap your head around. But what I learned was, and I shared this with my audience recently, so I'll share it with you guys because it's super helpful, is that I was selling it as an evergreen, buy it whenever you're ready, do what you want with it kind of a model, which is awesome because people could buy it when they were ready. But people are like me, and if there isn't a deadline, they don't do it. And so as a course creator, I want people to use my stuff. Otherwise, what's the point, right? Completely useless.
Yeah.
So I've recently turned it into a membership program. So it's called the Content into Courses Club. And you come along and you pay a monthly fee. It's $39 a month at the moment at time of recording. And you get everything. So you get my courses, my templates, you get co-working sessions, you get the lot. But the deal is you keep paying while you're there. And so I hope that people will actually use it. So the intention is you pay us for as long as you're there and you use the stuff and you build your course. And then if you want to leave, you can leave. No long kicking contracts, no nothing. But the logic behind it was, I'm hoping that people will actually start to use the stuff and then get their course built, because I learned very quickly that when I sold here, just have it and do it whenever you're ready. We never think we're ready. Yeah, we really don't think we're ever ready.
And what kind of content are you going to have in this membership, in your membership?
So there's modules on how to nail your course idea and map out whether an idea is worth building. There's modules on how to map your ideas, how to work out what goes in what modules and what lessons and what goes where. The How to Build Your Course talks about tech platforms as well. So it talks about where to put your course online and how to put your course online. And there's a bunch of tools and templates like how to beta test. There's a section on how to beta test and a module on how to review your program to make sure it's actually working, and all sorts of bits and pieces. So it's all the stuff that I use and that I do for clients. It's all in there. You use it. Yeah.
And do they get to access Sam every now and then?
They do. So we have monthly Q&A sessions where you can ask me anything. And then what I need, so what I've put in is regular co-working sessions. So I find that most of course creators have good intentions, but never get around to doing it. And so co-working sessions are there so you can come along and work. I'm working too. I'm on my computer working, you're on your computer working, but we're getting stuff done. And I think the moral of the story we've covered here on the podcast today is that you can't think your way into anything. You got to do it. And the doing is really important. And I know that whenever I talk to my audience, it's the doing, the getting around to doing that's the problem. So co-working sessions are super valuable that way.
No, it's been wonderful chatting with you, Sam. You're absolutely gorgeous and I love having chats with you.
Thank you.
And can't wait to have you all to myself for 2 days. In a few weeks' time, couple of weeks' time actually.
Yeah, it's not far.
But if any details on Sam's offer will be in our podcast summary below. So do click on the links. And obviously at the time of this recording, the offer is for $39 a month, but that can change. So as soon as this goes out there, get your hands on it as soon as you can, because honestly, Sam is freaking awesome at what she does. Can really back that up. And be sure to click on the link and don't forget to subscribe. And again, thank you so much, Sam, for your time. I really, really appreciate every minute that you give us. I really, really do.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you again for listening to this episode on the Wisdom Podcast, and don't forget to subscribe. To learn more about the summit and also receive a 30% discount code to the Wisdom on Wisdom Summit, see the link below. But honestly, if you are serious about sharing your content, earning from it, and creating a business lifestyle you're seriously looking for, we would love to have you join us in our Wisdom on Wisdom Summit. And it's running from the 14th and 15th of March 2023. It's only 97 AUD total, and you'll walk away with access to the Wisdom platform for 30 days free use, plus guides and support offers from our experts. Now, our experts are award-winning experts in their fields, and they'll share their expertise, and their expertise is based on years of experience and results, not just qualifications. We would love to have you there. You will gain so much out of this. Anyway, details are below in the podcast summary, and we would love to see you there.
Thanks for listening to the Wise Dome podcast. If you enjoyed and have been inspired by this episode and you'd like to support the podcast, do subscribe and please share it with others. Post about us on social media or leave a rating and review. To catch all the latest from me, Nikki Kelly, you can follow me on Instagram at Wise Dome Podcast, WISEDOME Podcast. I'm Nikki Kelly. Thanks again, and we'll catch up next time.